I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Years and years ago, when I was studying for my degree with the Open University, I went to one of their introductory presentations, and one of the first things that they said, it seemed so blindingly obvious, it seemed almost useless information, where they were talking about having your study space organised and ready to go. And they said, of course, if you couldn't have a home office or study, then just have a little space, have a box or something that can have all of your utensils, all of your books, all of your information ready to go, so that you're not wasting time rummaging around trying to find books when you should be studying. At the time, my husband, he made me a tiny little bookcase out of some odds and ends of wood that we got left. I think it was left over from the cabin beds he made for the boys. And he made me a little bookcase that I just got space for, and I could just have all my little uni books ready to go. And it was so blindingly obvious, and yet it's really set the standard and given me really great habits ever since. And it's the same when we're doing our music practice or our theory studies. And so let's say, for example, if it's your music practice, then maybe it is that you've got one of those old piano stools that seems to come with a load of random music. Just make sure it's tidied out. You don't want to be rummaging through your great grandma's old hymn tune books and music hall favourites to find whatever piece it is you should be working on. Make sure you've got current books that you're working on ready to go, so that you're not wasting practice time and you can totally get on with it the second you've got the chance. I have just like a box file that I've got all of my various bits and bobs in, and I've got my notepad, just keeping a little diary of what it is that I'm up to. So you could have a practice diary to hand and the relevant books that you're working on. If it is that you want a practice diary, on my website there's a free PDF that you can download. Actually, excuse me, here we go. And you can download these. I'll put the links to my website in the description box and the cards, and you can download that, and then you can keep a track on what it is that you're working on. But you need to make sure you've got everything to hand nice and ready to go, because you don't want to be wasting time rummaging around, and then you'll find that, you know what, you've just lost interest before you've got started. And it's the same as well if you're going to be doing music theory study. Not all of us have a marvellous music room where we've got piles of music ready to go, or we haven't got a grand home office in which we can study away and have everything sort of all spaciously set out. And so if it's the case that you need to perhaps just use the kitchen table or a corner of the sofa, make sure still that you've got everything to hand. So whether it's a bookshelf or a bag, I've got all of my study projects at the moment in this little bag. It feels like the Chancellor of the Exchequer's red box ready to go, like, okay, here we go, this is it, I'm on to study now. And that way I'm ready to go. I've also got a briefcase stacked and ready to go for my out of the house sort of teaching, and then I've got a choir bag ready to go with my choir music, because on choir rehearsal night I'm teaching, and then I've got 15 minutes to grab a quick bite to eat, get out of the door and skid into choir, coffee in hand. And I really haven't got time to be finding everything. I need to know that I've got my music, my pencil, a bottle of water, everything ready to go in a mad dash out of the door. And I think as well, it's not just to do with practicalities, the psychological effects of being ready. You know, you've got that positive mental attitude of I'm prepped and I'm ready and I'm ready to go. And so that seemingly useless information is really, really worth bearing in mind. If you think every time you go to do some study or you go to do some practice, you've got to go rummaging around for books, I think it's a cluttered mental approach to start with, and you're starting on the back foot. but also just think about how much time you'll be wasting. And so over the course of a week or two, you've probably lost a good hour's time just trying to find your different bits and bobs. So, if you're doing your music theory, have a bag or a shelf or a desk space, if you're lucky enough to have that, ready to go. And then make sure you've got your pencils ready, sharpened, a pair of specs if you need them, ready to go. And then the second the kids have gone to bed or the dishes are done or whatever it is, you think, right, I can go. And you've got that positive, proactive approach. And so I realise it sounds blindingly obvious. It seems almost too obvious to mention. But for that very reason, it can be so very easily overlooked. And then I think all you've got to do is find a system that suits you, but then most importantly, you have to implement it and then you're ready to go. I hope that helps. Thanks for watching. Bye.